that is who you think you should be, and not who you actually are. Just like play a character of yourself.
Am I not already doing that like all the time?
You're playing a character of a rock star. So do you like to watch slightly right wing stuff?
Slightly?
Yeah, like Jordan Peterson and.
Would he be considered right wing?
Yes.
Just because he's got like a suit on and like he doesn't believe in transgender people? Is that it?
He doesn't believe in them.
Yeah,
like
he he doesn't believe them.
They don't exist.
I mean,
it's just your dad dressed up like a woman.
Yeah, well, not all of them, but yeah, 3 of them.
But he's also like hearkening back to Christianity, and he's like everyone should be monogamous, and women shouldn't wear makeup in the office.
Premarital divorce and shit.
Premarital divorce. Before you marry,
I'm a proponent to divorce before the marriage.
Isn't that putting the cart before the horse?
No, this is a different thing entirely. I'm talking about marriage.
You don't like marriage?
No, I mean I don't like women to start with, and then this gay thing is just gay.
It's gay and stupid. But then maybe you just don't like people.
No, I just don't like the eternal union of any two people.
Because it hurts your heart.
It doesn't hurt my heart except for to think that anyone would. I would hate to meet the person who could tolerate me forever. That would be like the only thing worse than me would be someone who was like, no, this guy's cool, like forever.
What if it's just someone who's like barely there and they're like, say 2 words and they're
I've
like
got
a
uncles.
wallflower. They're like hanging off your arm and they don't really have to do anything with their life.
That would be awful. That would be awful. I wouldn't have respect for that
like
person.
A cat.
I wouldn't have respect for that as a person though. Like I would be awful to a person who's just
you
like,
should respect
you're
people more.
great. Well, but that's not a person who deserves respect. If there's a person who is like fawning over me and like is reliant on me, like that person doesn't deserve respect. Because I'm nothing. I'm worthless. Like if somebody's like, oh, I wouldn't even be able to chew solid food if it weren't for eating.
You don't think that you're worthy, so you're not going to respect anyone who likes you.
No, it's not the people who like me. It's the people who count on me that I don't have respect for.
So you're not gonna like be with anyone who
no, I'm with
gonna
people.
rely on you.
No, I'm with people, and like I provide for people occasionally. But as soon as it seems like they need me, I'm like you like had a lapse in reason to think that I'm the person who's gonna help you with whatever you need.
So you're never gonna have someone that's gonna need you.
No, I hope. I mean, I hope for their sake. No.
Well, maybe you should turn yourself into someone that can be relied upon.
I've tried. Watch, I'll do it right now.
You can't do it?
Did I do it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I rely on you to not make this podcast boring.
I don't know that I can help you with that.
You're doing it currently. This is fascinating.
So sometimes I like to go to get chicken ramen noodle, right?
Uh-huh.
And then I get the Oriental kind also.
Okay.
And I split you know how they come in like tiles? I split them in half.
Tiles.
And then I put a little bit of the chicken kind in with a little bit of the
nice
Oriental kind.
The pouch, the spices.
Yeah.
You split it in half.
Yeah, but I like just for continuity to mix the noodles too. I know it's not, and I know it doesn't really matter, but like.
So I can't rely on you because you do that.
And then I put them in some boiling water, right?
Yeah.
And then I've got Oriental chicken ramen.
Wow, that sounds reliable.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not really about marriage. It's about
I
Jordan
was just
Peterson.
trying to show you how boring I could be.
Oh shit! You just sabotaged my fucking podcast, dude.
Yeah, you want some soup?
No, we're recording a podcast. Get your head in the game.
Okay.
So
here, this is my new idea for a podcast. It's called One Word, right?
Uh-huh.
So this will be an example of how it sounds like. Bitch! This episode of One Word brought to you by Audible. Right? It's pretty good.
Cunt! So that was episode 2.
Yeah, bitch, cunt. It'll all be things about women.
Yeah, because you hate them.
I don't hate them. I just like saying mean things to them that make them cry.
Why? Because they're so easy to hurt?
No, because they're fragile. They're easy to break.
I said, and then saying it in another word.
Because they're easy to break. It's not that they're easy to hurt. If it was the fact that they were easy to hurt, I wouldn't break them. I want them to be.
You want to break them?
Yeah,
What's
like
the difference between
I don't want them
breaking
to
and
suffer.
hurting?
I just want them to no longer be viable. You know what I mean?
Human beings.
With my words.
You want to destroy them? Yeah, I mean that's.
I want to watch them
women
cry
like
through
that.
their birth canal.
There's
I want them
women who will want to be with you. In fact, a lot of them because they like the challenge or whatever. Because like women, you know, some of them are good at withstanding shitty men.
I don't hate women at all. I don't.
No, yeah, you don't.
No.
You hate being in a relationship with human beings because
I don't
hate yourself.
No, I don't. Well, I do. There are things I hate about it because I know that I can't even count on myself. So when other people do, and then I can't hold up what their expectations were of me, I'm like frustrated because like if I let me down, that's standard. That's like par for the course.
Yeah.
But like if I have to let someone else down, it's like I get frustrated because it's like I told you not to rely on me, and you still chose to do it.
Logical and like a puzzle, and you're like, I don't like you because of this elaborate series of logic, and I don't believe you.
That I don't like me or them.
That you are trying to make it sound like you don't like people, but actually you like them too much, and you get hurt by them, and that's why you have a crusty exterior. No, I do like people. I do, and like I do my best to have like moments of like random acts of kindness and shit, but like they have to be small because I know that I can't even have random acts of kindness for myself that require any kind of real responsibility because I can't wake up on time for anything. Yeah, you like what we had, like because I just parked in your place and now I'm leaving. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, like I'm happy to be able to do that, and it required nothing from me really. It just required me to not burn everything within a 5-yard radius of my house down. Well, you're good at that, and I think that's true kindness, and we have this artificial, bureaucratic, systematic kindness that we think is a real thing, but it's more like capitalism, and real kindness is like just talking to people and being there for them, and doesn't have to require a lot for you to give up a lot, but just have a good heart. But I mean, like, you're not a good person just because you don't do bad things. You're a good person because you opened up your heart to me. Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's probably just boils down to, like, examination of yourself. Like, no matter what you've done, like, no matter how bad it's been, like, the moment that you start to examine it and, like, actually be analytical with yourself about it, then that means that you're within reach of redemption, which is really all you need, because everybody's a fuck-up. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think Jordan Peterson is not my favorite, but you know, everyone has their different little things, and I don't mean to criticize your. I don't think that he's my favorite in the slightest. It's just there are some ideas that he has that are great. I think, like his idea about talking in a Kermit the Frog voice all the time. Does he do a Kermit the Frog voice? I guess so. Jordan Peterson. I'm so smart. Yeah, I noticed that he ends a lot of his more like on the money points with he just says so. And then moves on, but not with the beginning of the next sentence being so. He just says so, and that's like the period in between the paragraphs, and then he moves on to the next one. It makes sense in his head to sort of end things with the so. So. But yeah, I mean, I think that he is a thinker, and I think that he is right on some things, but I think the foundation of his idea is that this society just has to go back to the past is wrong, and I think we should progress. Does he think that? It needs to go back to the past? Yeah, he's like, we gotta all be Christians, we gotta all have monogamy. It's like, fucking, this is ancient bullshit that we found doesn't work. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of, like, things. There's, like, no matter what you think of someone, there's, like, good ideas and bad ideas. Like, like Hitler, like, people they always think of the same thing. It's like, it's fucked up, but, like, if you really think about it, and, like, really look at everything he did kill all those Jews. So that's pretty good. It's a great idea. 6 million great ideas. The vegetarian thing, not so much. Yeah, it's a lot of pussy. But, yeah, I mean, I think that Chapo Trap House is good, I think. What is Chapo Trap House? It's these, like, internet nerds who are, like, trying to be a nerd about politics, and they're, like,
look at it as a game. It's like material conditions of people. Let's improve it by giving them like what they need instead of like arguing about cancel culture or whatever.
It's like playing Civilization, but with everyone.
Yeah, I mean they're really snarky, and they're like, look at this stupid operator culture or whatever, and like.
Do you remember Clint Lapstansky? He did on his podcast. He did like the Clint. He did the like race war of the entire globe, but like fantasy football.
Oh yeah, like who would win?
Yeah,
white people.
Yeah,
Asian
it'd be pretty close.
Second,
yeah,
African last. Middle East second to last.
I think it would be white people or people who wish they were white.
Well,
that would be like a whole other
diaspora now. It's not just white people. It's like there's black Trump supporters. Because it's like an idea that you just have to be a selfish little shit and
like Kanye is just like trying to be annoying when he supports him though, right?
I feel like he's like African Americans have been in America too long, and some of them have gone. They're like maybe they do have some good ideas, these Americans, but then there's like great revolutionaries like Fred Hampton and others. But I mean, millennials aren't good at producing great revolutionaries because we're too focused on ourselves and we can't reward the good parts of others. But
I try to. I mean, I don't know when to though, because I don't know when they need it. Because like sometimes it's like if somebody is like way too like, yeah, that was great. It's like I need to have a more measured reward system in my head of how much I tell myself that was great. You know?
Yeah.
Because when you do something, because when you do something well, you tell yourself like, oh, I'm amazing. Of course, I fucking did something well. Like I always do things well, and then like you don't like you just absorb things like that. And then, like, when you do something poorly, you're, like, you, like...
freak out.
I don't really freak out that much anymore. I just, like, I think that I need to find the right balance between, like, accepting that, like, the negative feelings that come with doing something wrong are, like, an important part of growing. Because, like, that's the body's antibody for, like, you won't do that again because you felt so poorly after you did it.
Yeah, so you remember it.
Yeah, but, like, I don't know, on the flip side, like when people over compliment you, it's like that's not productive either. Because like you have to have a measured idea of your abilities.
Yeah, I think I'm single because I have high expectations of people, and I think that a lot of people are broken by capitalism.
Is this? You just think about this in your van.
Yeah,
I want one of your vans. Like I agree with you completely. Like as far as I'm concerned, if you can do it yourself, you should always do it yourself. If you're able to.
This is not a society that you can rely on.
Yeah.
They'll fuck you.
Yeah, for sure.
You gotta do it on your own, and I wish I didn't, because now I have to like.
And you have to not ask permission.
Yeah. You gotta take it, because that's what America's all about. They respect that. Let me close my door real quick.
You probably just kick the cord. It's cool.
Is it hooked up to this battery?
No, I'm charging that battery, or I was trying to.
Okay.
That breaker just got flipped somehow.
There we go.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so what do you think about
keto goths?
Keto goths. I mean, what do you think about scrapping? What do you like about it? And how do you think it helps you in your life?
It's a way to not have a boss, which is probably the most important function for me personally, is I can't have people tell me what to do. I'm bad
Why
at
not?
it. Because as soon as someone tells me what to do, like even if someone tells me what to do and I was already going to do it, I have to not do it. I don't know why I'm like that, but it's just like...
keep breathing.
I'm breathing?
Yeah, doing what I told you to do, you know, bitch.
I mean, I don't want to, but I don't really have much of a choice, do I?
Yeah, so you have to do what I say.
But you can't fire me from life. Like, that has nothing to do with it. Like, you keep being Asian, Hans.
Well,
Stop being
I don't have,
Asian.
like, this, you know, negative reverse psychology complex.
I know, it's weird. It's a weird one. I know.
Well, maybe the nature of power is...
it's the nature of authority that bothers me.
Is
arbitrary
artificial.
Authority.
And this is not a good way to structure or have a hierarchy is to have one person with dubious merit tell others what to do.
Yeah. Any merit, any authority that's just like fucking out of nowhere is pointless. Like if you can't examine it, and like if somebody's like, this is what we're gonna do, and then if you approach it and you're like, well, what if we analyze it and that doesn't make any sense? Well, we're still gonna do it because I'm the authority figure. Then like I've lost respect for them.
Yeah. And it's not an efficient way to organize a society, because if we all have brains and we can like go out into the world and figure out what's right and what's the best thing to do, then we should do that instead of just sacrificing our brains and having one person do all their thinking for us. That's inefficient.
Yeah, the person in charge should always be the person who's the least stupid at the time.
Yeah, and it should always change. Power is fluid.
Yeah.
And we have this industrialized way of doing things.
I have this idea that like the person who should be the president they should find a way to like analyze people and figure out the person who least wants to be the president and then make them do it. Because like
then they won't use their power for evil. Then they'll only use their power when they absolutely have to. Yeah,
if you want to be the president, that to me is like the number one telltale sign that you have a character defect that makes you ill fit to sit in the seat. You know what I mean? Like, you want to be president? Like, who are you? Like, why are you a person who needs that?
Yeah, you shouldn't need to control people.
Yeah. Yeah, Donald Trump's thing was like pathological. His need to have it was weird.
Yeah, and we thought that was normal. Like that we should reward that.
I didn't reward it. I had nothing to do with it. Everyone else did.
Okay, yeah, I'm not accusing you of anything. But I'm thinking being a leader is actually a serving job. So that you're like, I want to serve my community. And, like the CEO is so exalted nowadays, but actually it should just be one part of a larger machine, and instead of giving them 90% of all the profits of a company or the executives.
If you're a leader,
that's give them like their fair share, which is more than the others, but also like, they're just one part. Like you need all the other parts, and right now we just love power so much, and we're like, oh, this guy's powerful, let's give him everything.
I think leader is something that should be determined retroactively. You know what I mean? You don't appoint a leader in advance and then follow them. You just perform the tasks, and then whoever led is the person you look back and like, they led us,
But what if you're like going to cross the Rio Grande and you had an inflatable boat and you didn't know how to do it, but there's this one guy who knew how to do it? Would you follow him even though he's telling you what to do?
I know how to inflate a boat.
But what if he knew when the best ways were and where the Coast Guard wasn't going to look?
All the ocean shortcuts?
Yeah, like you have to listen to people sometime. You can't just always not listen to people.
It's not that I don't always listen. I mean, if I don't know anything about something, then like... So
you're okay being a bitch and doing what other people tell you if it makes sense?
Yeah. And if it's fun. Or if it just resonates with me as like, I guess that's what we're going to do because I don't know. But, like, I am a person who comes off as argumentative because I'm constantly like, oh, but are we doing this because of this? And that, like, it seems like I'm trying to pick apart, like, the structure of how things work and, like, poke holes in it. But I'm really just, like, making sure it's airtight.
Yeah, because you need to know because you're going to do it. Your body is on the line.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to do something where it doesn't make sense to do. And I think a lot of people have that part of their brain broken. They're, like, doing things with their body that their mind doesn't understand and their spirit doesn't feel, and that's rewarded in our society.
To have a 40-hour-a-week day job, like, I can't even imagine I don't think I can do it. Fucking so much respect for anyone who's fucking capable of it and is capable of coming out the other side, like, still with any fucking personality at all. It's unreal, dude, because I've done it before, and it took, like, all my youth was spent in those situations, and like now I know I don't have the energy for even 1 fucking hour working at Taco Bell. Like I don't have it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No matter what I did, I could not make myself work at Panera Bread for a full day. Like I would have to leave sooner or later.
Well, you're like cleaning shit and doing all this shit, and
you're putting soup in a bowl made out of bread, and you're wearing an apron. And you're there at 6 a.m. and you have to go to the bathroom and be like, hey, can I go to the bathroom? And they yell at you if you have your phone. And you have to, like, deal. You have to,
Well,
"Hey,
what
here
if
you are, the
you were
coffee."
in NASA and you were like in charge of screwing in all the fucking, you know, like screwing in all the fucking rivets in the fucking spaceship?
If that's your job, then you obviously applied yourself to put yourself in a situation at NASA. Otherwise, you just work at like a cabinet store.
But that's
It's
what I'm
not like
saying.
you're
It's
just
like,
like, "Oh, how the
fucking.
fuck I end up
There
at
should
this
be
space
more
station?"
jobs like that.
Yeah.
Like, and the fact that we have meaningless jobs where your whole life is spent in like making this nice bread bowl and making like people have this consumer experience is a waste of human potential when we could be going like having you do something amazing instead of just like bread bowls and shit.
Yeah. And the metal scrapping thing is even more thankless. Like, as far as other people's thing, like, their respect for you is so in the toilet. Like, I should have never told people so many things about my personal life. Like, I should have never told a soul about my drug use. Like, because a large part of how it's affected my life negatively is the way that people treat me because of it, you know? Which isn't to say that obviously it affects me and my behavior and my mental and physical
Well,
well-being.
I think that's just
negative.
society stupid.
People are really shitty about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's their fault, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we live in a shitty society, and if you act like normal and tell people what you're going through, then they're gonna be like, oh, you do drugs? Well, I heard from Reagan and Nancy that you're bad, and I'm gonna treat you like the outcast.
Yeah, well, I mean, people, like, one of the things I learned in Seattle was if someone says to you, hey, no judgment, if you ever need to talk about anything, you can talk to me. Don't tell them nothing. Because they're trying to get you to tell them something for some reason. Like, it's like, don't tell that person anything. Because
Well, like, people in Seattle are like that. They're very, like, conniving.
Mm-hmm. If somebody's really your friend, you'll know you can tell them some shit. You don't need to fucking hear them say that to you.
Yeah. They don't have physical violence, but they have social violence.
Yeah. Yeah, the fucking lash outs and, like, the brutal takedowns I've seen occur over goddamn Facebook are absurd.
Yeah.
And I guess, like, I never took it that seriously because, like, by the time MySpace was a thing, I was, like, a freshman.
MySpace.
And when I remember when MySpace came out, we all thought it was just a joke. We all thought it was so stupid, and we fucked with it and talked to each other on it and shit, but, like, it was a joke. We didn't really take it seriously. If someone was like, oh, we were on MySpace and they pissed me off, I'd be like, you're stupid for having that be a thing in your head. And now people are still in the womb and they have Facebook. Like, they're not even born yet and they already have Facebook.
They're ultrasounds.
Yeah, and so that's what they're born into, communicating with each other in large part through that means. Like, that to them is part of the human-to-human contact thing. It's like we had already gotten way past the point of all our essential ideas of how we communicate with each other, and, like, there are people who've always had Facebook, and to them that's part of interacting. That's a conversation. It's just as intimate as anything else. It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I think digital communication is a legitimate form of communication.
I think it can be, but I think it robs people of a lot. Because, like 90% of our communication is nonverbal, and it has to do with body language and shit. And so, like,
that's stupid.
You, like, pin it down to, like, the most basic form it could possibly be in. It's abbreviated, and it has no tone, and there's, like, slang in it, and it's inevitably misunderstood almost every single time, especially when there's a conflict. And then this is mostly how we talk to each other now.
Well, I think that we should learn how to talk to each other and express our ideas through words and not through the way that we shift our knees or lift our eyebrows. I think that's some animal stuff. And I think
I use both. And, like, I think that they're both important.
Yeah, I mean, they are both important. I just feel like if you can't express yourself through words and, like, you know, sentences, then it's like you probably aren't saying things that are very logical.
Well, if there are, like, bare bones things that, like directions or instructions or, like essential pieces of information, like, that's a text to me.
Yeah.
But, like, if you have something that you need to say, or, like, if you're worried about someone, you call them to me. You know what I mean? That's
true.
Grounds for a phone call. Or if you're angry with them.
That's why podcasts are good, or, like, videos, or, like, you know, that's, like, using the digital with the whatever, with the animal.
Yeah, it's just, like, there's so much lost in the little things that people do with their voice that, like, we don't even consciously pick up on. We don't even consciously express those things. But they're, like, everything. It's so like all of these sentences were colored by like little things that you and I haven't even really thought about. And like if we were having the same thing over a text message, first of all, we wouldn't have it. We would not have this conversation.
Yeah,
Period.
it'd take too much time.
Yeah, and we would be like, "What the fuck is this thing talking about? Like, what are you talking about?" And we would just like one or both of us would just walk away from the keyboard and let the other person tucker themselves out.
It's like you're conveying information, but like if you want to convey emotions, then I think having the voice is important.
I think it should just be all tones, no words, and we just like growl at one another.
Just give each other eyes. I want to.
Remember Banjo-Kazooie? We should talk like those characters. That game went hard, dude.
I mean, I think that being able to talk online is good, and I think it's great, and I think talking in person is good also. There's more possible, but I think we should not just be like everything has to be in person, but meld the two worlds together.
Whenever something is even approaching a fight, I'll tell someone in a text like, you can either call me or I'll see you later. Like I've like cut them off. Like I totally stop talking to them if it starts to get into fight territory.
But sometimes I like arguing via text because then you can actually get the words out and see who has logical thoughts and who's a fucking brain dead. There's bad grammar.
There's the thing about like show me 3 lines from the most honest of men and I'll have enough to have him hanged by morning. Like if you take the time and just stare at something that somebody said in written word, you can pick it apart and eventually it's going to come apart. Like eventually you're going to find the weak spot in it. Like that's anything.
Or you could analyze it and find out what they're actually thinking and, just be in awe of what they're actually conveying.
Right, but most people don't do that. They look for the I'm right, you're wrong thing.
Well, it's because we have a traumatized society that's just trying to tear each other down because they're crabs in a bucket.
But that's why I prefer to talk to people face to face, is because they seem to find it a lot harder to do that if you're just right there looking at them. You know what I mean? Like I've seen people just like mop the floor with other people's fucking lives on Facebook, but they won't do that to you if you're right there with them.
I don't know. I don't give a shit about that. If you can't convey your information through words, then I don't know if like we have to always be talking to each other face to face to like communicate ideas.
Yeah, I love to piece together like the words in a sentence, and I think it's fun to color things that way. But I think that a lot of things can't be explained with words.
Yeah.
And like when you read something, you have it in your head as like a tone. Like you're reading it to yourself.
That's what's great about it. You can get into people's heads and force your ideas to be said in their heads.
I like the idea that like it's a lot harder to write nonfiction than it is, or a lot harder to write fiction than it is to write nonfiction, and it's because like in a novel, people have to do things that their character would do, and it has to like kind of make sense, because if they do something like out of character, like the reader's going to be totally taken out of it. But in real life, people do shit that doesn't make sense all the fucking time.
Yeah, because that's their character. It's trying to find their character.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't felt like the main character in this thing for a long time.
Well, that's not life. Like, we're not main characters. We're 1 in a billion.
Yeah.
7 billion.
But most people, they put it in their head as like the narrative is, this is me and I'm doing this. And
then like real life clashes with that, and they have to trick themselves into thinking they're the main character when all evidence points otherwise.
Yeah.
And they become crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of went into like exile, and like I just like went away.
Fuck them. They don't deserve you.
I don't know, man.
Fucking animals.
I don't know. I try to like think about it a lot as like, I wonder if I'm like totally deluded, and like what if I did something to deserve this? Like I'm positive I didn't, but like I feel like it wouldn't have been that severe were it not for something.
It's not your fault. It's society's fault. I think if you blame society, then you don't have to torture yourself.
I don't really torture myself about it anymore, except for like it's straight up just like, it's not like regret. It's not like it's inside of the television. It's a rear projector screen.
It's like a little ribbon.
It's like watching television as me, because the hair is in front of you.
Oh, nice. Like you could get a wire and pull it up.
Oh, I could get it out, no problem. I just haven't yet. It's not like I'm angry about it, and it's not like I need to feel like there's some kind of cathartic I was right, everyone else was wrong moment. Like most of the time, it's just like I wish I had my life back. You know, like that was me well on my way to being what I wanted, and like I kind of was what I wanted, and I was doing it my way, and I was my own boss and shit, and it was great, and I really don't see a person being able to spark fire like that again in their life, especially when like it took me so like there was months on the street and like just like pulling myself back together emotionally and mentally, and like now I'm kind of back together, and I just want to do what I'm doing and skate by without calling too much attention to myself. But I know that that's not the way to be. It's just how I've been.
You're scared.
Yeah, because I don't want that. I don't want to do that again. That would be awful. And like it was unreal how thorough it was, and how there was like literally nothing I could do.
Well, you were vulnerable because you trusted the group, the comedy community, and you worked there. You lived within the comedy community, and they could take it away, and they did because they were petty and just because they could.
I didn't realize that they could because so much of it was mine. You know, like so not mine, but like so much of it was like it came from things that I had created. You know.
Yeah, but if you like go back again and don't rely on them for the basics and find a way to fund that on your own, then they can't take anything away from you again.
But that seems like it would be petty because like I could do that here and it wouldn't have to be about them.
Yeah, you could.
And it would be less difficult.
Or you could go back to where you were and
I don't think that
put in the final chapter to the story that has a happy ending.
I don't think that spot existed anymore.
You'd find a new spot. You're better now.
Yeah.
So you'd find a bigger and better way to do it.
Yeah, and this is stunting my growth being in Tucson. I think that my comedy is stunted. It's like really, it's not terrible. I just like, I remember that I was getting better and better and better all the time before I left Seattle. Like all the time I was
and
getting.
And you were kicked out by people who aren't getting better and better, but are stagnating and just like, you know, socializing. And they kick out the people actually doing comedy so that they can use the comedy community to fucking, you know, putz around and just like
posturing and pageantry,
their big labia lips around the community and not actually do comedy.
Mm-hmm. And oh, dude, what's his name? You know who lives here? Jamie Kilstein. Did you know that? He lives here now.
Oh, isn't he the guy that went on Rogan?
Yeah, and he was like canceled hard as fuck. He was a male feminist comedian, and he like didn't do the clubs. He was just doing these alt rooms and stuff. And he lives here now. This Tucson's full of runaways, my friend.
Yeah, what is he doing here?
He was doing mics for a couple of weeks.
Mics here? Yeah. Before the pandemic?
Yeah, he was doing mics for a couple of weeks, and like he didn't talk to nobody. He just went up and did his time, and then he split.
Good for him.
And I had seen him around even before that. Like he said, "Hey, what's up, man?" Like as he walked by me, but he's like clearly not here to talk to anyone. So
I feel like he's a chameleon, because he was whatever first, and now he's something else. Like I forget what him and Rogan argued about.
It didn't seem like they were arguing to me when I saw that back and forth.
Well, he's someone that takes the temperature of the society he's in and becomes whatever he needs to be.
Yeah, those people make me sicker than the people.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we need people who embody the voice of this generation, but the only problem is we have a sick society. So if you change yourself to be a part of this society, then you're going to turn into some weirdo anti-comedy feminist.
Yeah, I don't know, when I watched him it didn't seem like there was much there, you know? But that was because he didn't there was no one there for him to pander to. We're in Tucson. We're neither club comics nor are we there's just a bunch of people doing
like
open mics.
A chameleon on a mirror.
Yeah, doesn't really know what to do with himself. It was really weird. Every now and again, like an established comic will come through town and they're just like they seem kind of disoriented, like they're in a dream the whole time, you know.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of comedy relies on the scene around you and playing off what was already said before. So when there's nothing there, then they have nothing to bounce off of because they're not humans. They're just reactions.
Yeah. And like, when it gets all insular, it's just people kind of blur together, you know, like it's like, oh, this is there's all four of these guys are kind of the same guy basically in my head. You know?
Jamie Kilstein.
No, it's just like little chunks of comics. They're like, oh, all of you do that, and like basically, I'll take the best one of you because I know what y'all do.
Yeah.
You know? When people are like, you know, what's that comedian? He's like a tall, weird, lanky looking guy, and he's like bald, but he like talks. He's like, he's in what's that Louis show that was like Cheers? It looked like Cheers.
Louis?
No, it looked like Cheers, but it was like super sad. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Horace and Pete. Remember that show?
No, that was a movie, right?
No, it was a series.
Oh, was it on HBO?
No, it was just on his website actually. Come to think of it, and the lengths of the episodes were
I
all
didn't
weird.
see it. I don't really like Louis stuff that much.
Kurt Metzger, that's the comic I'm thinking of.
Oh,
Kurt Metzger.
Not bald.
He's like
He's
balding.
balding.
Yeah, like that's the dude where like so often you go to a club and you're like, you know Kurt Metzger already exists. You don't need to be here. Like your shift is covered. You can go home. Like
that voice.
The like he talks like this a lot. He does this thing a lot. He's like bug-eyed as fuck, dude. He's weird looking. But like he is funny. I do like his stand-up, but it's like I don't understand why. Like if what you admire about someone is the fact that they sound unique in how they sound, like why would you then emulate that uniqueness instead of like admiring that there's nothing like it and trying to come up with something different yourself?
I think it's because we create nothing people with bland personalities. That's the kind of society we live in. We don't create interesting people.
People are going to get so dull in the next couple of years. It's going to be really weird. Because
Like
the kids don't even
pandemic.
play their own video games anymore.
Pandemic forces people to recognize that there's something bigger than them and they have to change.
Yeah.
Life isn't about imposing your will on the world. It's about changing with the world and adapting to it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And these Americans don't have any idea how to do that. They're delusional with their privilege. They just know how to fucking have wild fantasies, not live in the real world. And I think a lot of people are suffering, and I'm glad they're having mental breakdowns because their brains are weak and they deserve to be broken.
Yeah, and like you can come out the other side with like there'll be chunks missing, but if you get broken down and then you keep going, like you're like the parts that are left are gonna be like way sharper and way stronger.
Yeah.
But like you gotta lose some shit along the way.
Yeah, now you have to deal with something real and figure out who you really are. There's only like 3 things that a person really is, and everything else is changeable. And we hold on to these little parts of ourselves that are easily changeable.
Yeah. By the way, I feel bad for letting you smoke that. I feel bad.
The methamphetamine?
Yeah, I feel really bad for because that's not like me.
Because Liz made you feel bad?
No, she didn't make me feel bad. She reminded me how I feel about it. Like, cause I
she reminded you what you actually feel.
Yeah, because I don't do that. Like you asked me a bunch of times over the last like 2 days.
Don't let friends smoke methamphetamine.
I can't let or stop you from doing anything.
Yeah,
like that's not.
But you don't want to
like,
be the one that pushes me over the edge.
I just feel that I could have put more effort into explaining to you why you might not want to.
Like a DARE program?
No, not like a DARE program. Like from a first-hand experience kind of thing, where it's like not even why you might not want to, just like making sure you understand what the consequences of.
But isn't that coercive power?
Yeah, it's manipulation. I think manipulation has a bad rap these days.
But it's like if I want to do it and we're just 2 people hanging out, don't bring like artificial like bureaucracy into it. Just like act natural and be like, hey, I have some methamphetamine.
Yeah, but what if I was sitting over here putting like the bottom part of a hot spatula on my leg over and over again just because I just fuck with it? This is what I do.
And if I wanted to do it,
no,
if I wanted, I don't want to do it, and that's a good motivator to not have me do it because there's no positive thing to come out of it. But methamphetamine, it gave me a good high, and it made me look at the world differently and sort of.
Did it get all shimmery?
No, it's not really a visual thing for me.
It's not exactly like colors and shit. It's like it's just like the thing that you said a second ago. I was just telling someone about this recently. The thing that got me hooked on G, and like a lot of people will say
GHB.
This. No, it's weird. People in Arizona call meth G for some reason.
Yeah,
and it got me confused a lot because I always thought they were saying GHB.
Yeah,
and it's like no, they call it G here. But the
Yeah.
thing that got me and a lot of
Date
other
rape.
people like addicted to G is that it makes you feel like you are the person you always knew you were deep down. That's the
Wow.
like it's like beyond confidence. It's like this is because confidence almost feels like I'm gonna put this on so that I can get through
Yeah.
here. It's like you just like, oh, there you are. I knew you were in
Yeah,
here. And
it's like a solid emotional foundation, whereas normally it's like I don't know what to feel. Should I feel happy? Am I, because this world is very unknown and scary. But with when I did methamphetamine, it's like this is how I feel, and it's not a bad emotion. It's stable. I can be this. I can have this sort of good emotion. I can stay here, and I don't have to like worry about am I having the right emotion because I'm high. It's like I have the emotion that I smoked to get, and now I have that. Now I can live the rest of my life and figure out why this car looks so weird.
And your head will tell you once you feel that way, that good feeling, that because it's not a visual thing, and because it's not like having the same kind of effects, like the way it puts the headspace it puts you in, your brain just can't not think to itself like, I can sustain this, like I can do this, and I can make it a positive, productive thing. I know that I've heard all these things about other people, but they must not be feeling what I'm feeling because I'm feeling.
You're
good.
being affected differently by it.
Yeah.
Or I am.
Or I'm capable of managing it where other people weren't. Like anything like
Well,
that.
I'm not worried about that. I don't want to keep doing it.
I'm not worried about you doing
do it
honestly.
over and over again.
The way that I had it, I said it to Liz. I was like, the impression that I got was that either you have done it before and you were bullshitting me, or you haven't done it before and you're probably not going to seek it out again. So it's one of those two things. Either you've done it before and you kind of do it here and there and you just like fed me some shit, or you've tried it now and you're really not compelled to have more that much. You might do it here and there, but that's it.
I mean, it was a good high.
Yeah, it's.
But you know, like marijuana does something similar. It's not like that different. But I mean, marijuana, I got used to it and sort of, you know, it's different. But things that speed you up, I think, is a real danger because then it just keeps ramping you up and up. But weed sort of slows you down. It's like a natural. It just sort of forces you to not kill yourself, you know, overdo it. So it's a good thing to be addicted to.
Yeah, but it's not like
you felt bad about that. I can't believe you felt bad that you gave me methamphetamine.
Well, because like I don't know, it's not good for anyone really. Like even though it's like even if you have it in your head, like I want to have all the different experiences and the whole
like
rainbow
speed.
of drugs, but it is. It's
They
speed.
prescribe that
bad
too.
for you, and they shouldn't.
Well,
I say
some
this is
people
someone who
need
had
it.
Ritalin. Yeah, the morbidly obese.
People with brains that want it or need it or are improved by it.
Like who?
Like you.
I don't know that it's improving it.
Well, then why are you doing it?
Because I want to.
Yeah, that's a good sign that you should do it.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to do it, then it's like your brain is seeking it out because it's making you feel a certain way.
But what about like people who fuck
to do it?
Puppies and shit? Like,
it's because they want to do it.
and it makes them feel good.
You
Don't even think about it. Just hop right in.
Yeah, you shouldn't fuck puppies, but I think that if you can sort of recognize that it's a drug, and that drugs are a certain thing, and that there's a certain way to handle it correctly.
Yeah, I agree
with that. It's smart to do it, but fucking puppies is not great.
I mean, it's not great, but it's all right.
It'll get you where you're going.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that I should have done it. I don't think that I should have not done it.
It wasn't weird watching you film it at all because I was like, oh, okay, this is like he's like doing this from a journalistic standpoint. if this is what's happening, like he's just doing it so that he can say he did it to someone someday.
Yeah, it's like it puts it into context. I'm not just doing it because I hate this day and I just want to escape. I'm like, I want to see what it's like, and a lot of people do meth, and there's a reason, and I don't think all those people are stupid idiots who are just addicted. I think that's a stupid narrative that we tell each other. That
I used to archive shit like that so much more diligently, but now that like I'm concerned with what is done with content once you let go of it, like I barely put anything anywhere for anyone to see. You know?
That's sad that we have this technology and you're not using it. it's like a superpower, and you're just like, whatever.
I use it. It's just like I use it very sparingly to occasionally remind people that I even exist, and like.
Well, you know, if you use it and it makes you feel bad, then it's not a good thing to use.
Yeah. It doesn't just make me feel bad. It's like, I don't know. It's just, I got weird fucking body image issues and shit.
You don't want to portray yourself in a certain way or show people
No,
an image of yourself that's not you.
I'm comfortable with being however I am, but I don't like that people pretend to not understand that, like, you feel differently sometimes than other
Well,
times.
then you delete their comment and you create a world among that's in your head, and you create that world online.
Yeah, that's not a terrible idea, but like I don't know that, like, I don't know if I have it in me to fucking push back uphill against resistance like that again.
The Seattle incident.
Yeah, I mean,
But that's not digital. That was like one person.
no, it was
lied.
a lot of shit. All like, yeah, they set off the fucking spark, and then it was carried out through Facebook. Like, it was all over Facebook.
It's like, if they're gonna do that, then do it, and then in the real world, just keep going to mics.
Yeah.
And they'll see you and have to eventually come face to face with reality, and they'll feel stupid because they're violent, narcissistic little American shits who can't think about anyone but themselves. And they're just using conservative tactics that they learned from their parents to push forward whatever narcissistic vision they have.
Yeah, I don't know. And like they're told that, like, oh, you must have been raised real well to have all this self-esteem. You know what I mean? It's like, to value self-worth above everything else, it means that you had a well-rounded childhood.
Yeah, because you value yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, you had a terrible childhood.
I know.
I had a pretty good childhood. It was just boring.
I can see that.
Yeah. This world that we're trying to strive for is not worth striving for. We need a new vision. We need to change our culture and society, but we're too afraid of change. We want everything to stay the same because that's safe, even though people are dying.
I don't. Yeah, I'm comfortable with some mass hysteria.
Yeah, I mean, we need it.
I think that sounds fucking great, dude.
We can't keep doing this forever.
I'm all the time, like, if I ever stare up at the moon for a long time, I get, like, my heart starts to beat faster because I just think, like, one of these days something's gonna just like knock that thing into rubble, and it might happen right now while I'm sitting here. You know,
Like an asteroid?
or whatever. You know, like, eventually whatever it's gonna be is gonna happen, and you might be able to watch it. It might happen in an instant, but like whatever it is gonna be here sooner or later.
Yeah.
Like, we're not that special. We're gonna go eventually.
We're very tiny.
Mm-hmm.
So we might as well do whatever we want.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like V Chatty
Yeah.
is a terrible person.
She is.
And I remember when she started comedy, and I remember before she started comedy, and it was a better time before she started comedy.
Yeah, it was really, really bad.
But I haven't really hung out with her a lot. I'm just
She's
surmising, and also, like, I left for New York, and I used Seattle, fucking used it for whatever I needed, and I fucking left.
It was like, that was the mindset that I had in Seattle was like, I was like elevating from the ground, like I was like tide rising, all the boats go up kind of thing. I was like constantly putting money in other people's pockets and like
You
constantly
should do
promoting
that.
other
Stand-up
people.
comedy is individual.
I know.
And you gave too much of yourself to this community, and they fucked you.
I just thought it was not just a good idea for them, but for me. You know, I was like, I thought that this is what you do. This is how you get notoriety. Is
What you failed to realize is that this society is evil, and you should not give them anything. You should thrive in spite of them.
I feel that there have been varying degrees of doing okay since then.
I'm just kidding. There's some good parts of people. But I just feel like America's so violent and aggressive, and they just use people like resources. And in Korea, it's like you're Korean, you know? Like, they rape and kill each other too, but far less. Actually, I don't know the murder rate. It's probably far less. But it's like they respect each other. They have this like thing where they're like, you're not just like a slave that I'm gonna use. You're Korean, you know. We're all Korean, and we all like care for each other. But here in America, it's like people are resources, and people treat each other like shit. Like this guy at the bar today, he was just like talking nonstop. Remember that guy that you were yelling at with the Hawaiian shirt or whatever at the bar?
Oh yeah, that guy's always there.
He's like, it's like benign, but it's still evil. It's like he just thinks that he gets to take up this much space, and
I mean, he does get to.
Annoying. Yeah, I mean, he's going to the limit of what humans are allowed to do, but that's not a. He doesn't need it. He doesn't need to take up that much attention. He's just taking it because he can, and not because.
Yeah. But I mean, what's so special about anyone? Like.
Yeah, I know, but it's not like you can just ruin everyone else's night because no one's special.
Yeah, I think there are better, more complex reasons to ruin other people's lives. Like, sheer pleasure of the game, sheer joy of it.
You're an artist.
Yeah.
You destroy women and men.
No, I mostly just destroy myself, and then everyone gets mad at me for it because they probably think that I can be taking care of myself better, and I don't.
You're like teetering on the edge of just being the scariest person ever, and people are like, that looks like it's gonna fall off any moment.
Yeah, and then they fucking come
then
running.
They push you.
No, man, some people come running. Like, it's been my experience that like whenever people are in a weird like transitional period in their lives, they find their way over to me. Like when they're like, I don't know, there was like all this other stuff that was happening, but I'm not going back to that. I don't really know what's happening next, and then they feel like they can talk to me because it feels like, I think it's like it feels like I've been there, and you can tell that I've been there for a long time, and that it's and that you can still laugh while you're there, and then it's like
you're at a bus stop.
Yeah, bus stop.
I mean, I feel like you attract those people. Like some comedian had a joke. I think it was Jason Goad, who was like, I have the kind of face where people tell me about whole episodes of Sons of Anarchy. And you have that. Like, I have the opposite. Like, I attract people, too, who are, like, boring and want someone benign who's not gonna, rock the boat too much. But you are attracting all these crazy people, and you're playing the video game, you're playing a different game from me. So it's, like, easy for me to not do meth. But for you, it's, like, all the meth heads come to you. So
yeah.
It's, like... But also you attract it yourself. It's like a symbiotic relationship.
Anybody who's ever been in recovery will tell you, like, you don't need money. You know, like, it doesn't matter. Like, if you want it, you'll get it. It doesn't matter what you have to do to get it, you'll get it. So, it's not about money. It's like, at this point, it's just about fucking not sleeping for 24 hours straight. I don't want to fucking sleep all that time.
I slept a lot today.
Cool.
This felt good. I feel like I'm not going to sleep tonight because I took the puff of marijuana this afternoon. And that kind of shit fucks me up. Like, Molly keeps me up.
I hate Molly.
Yeah.
Suicide Tuesdays or whatever. It's the worst. Fucking come down there where you just.
But I don't think it's meth that's destroying people. I think it's capitalism and the lack of resources and lack of a functional society.
Yes.
If we had a functional society, people wouldn't have to go to meth to feel good. They would feel good because they get to rivet in the screws in a space shuttle. That's a high.
Yeah, but you can't really do much with it.
That's why I like comedy, dude. Because this society is so fucking stupid that the best thing I can do is make fun of it and just like have fun.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like 9 times out of 10 how I'm trying to think of things anyways, because it's like I've been through so much that now terrible things I am able to just like, okay, well, this will be what I have to deal with now and get back at it, you know?
You have PTSD.
It's not even PTSD, it's like I PTSD'd my way through and now I don't care. Like if something little tiny thing happens, it pisses me off a lot. But like Liz knocked over my old television, and it was a big, nice, smart TV. It was an LG. It was bigger than this one. It was fucking amazing. And she was just drunk and knocked it over. And like I didn't even think about it. I was like, well, it's okay. It doesn't matter.
You got a new one.
Found that one on the side of the road.
Yeah, so that's not a big deal because it's not, getting homeless and ostracized from a community that you love. So it feels like nothing.
I'm not a part of any community.
You are, whether you like it or not. That's what the pandemic should have taught us.
Was that a spit bubblegum?
Chew gum. But I think Blue Moon was a good mic. I think...
Remember the comedy crawl space?
No.
In the Unicorn? The show that Andrew Murphy and I ran? When we
Sure.
had the dating game?
Oh, yeah. With that really popular bar.
Yeah, the Unicorn.
That was fucking crazy, dude.
Dude, that show was great, right? We
That-
did the
that- that
craziest
was
shit on that
packed.
show.
And you guys had like people come up and like, wear a little unicorn
Yeah,
helmet.
people were trying to just party there, and they were loud and shit, and we were all there all night, dude. Remember Daniel Gray?
Oh,
He was
like
a
the wheelchair
quadriplegic
guy?
Yeah, we had him do the dating game and shit. And like when the curtain went down and the girl looked over and saw him, he was like, "Hey, I didn't know you weren't gonna be in a wheelchair."
Good line. He was funny.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah. Yeah, the wheel.
Yeah, man. Oh, dude, didn't we ban someone every show? I forget who the first person was.
That's a great play on cancel culture.
Yeah, it didn't even occur to me.
That was the
A bunch of shows.
zeitgeist.
Naked Brunch, Patriot Hacks, which was the festival held in the backyard.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, when remember Brody Kelly?
Yeah, he's from Portland. He moved up, right?
I have no idea. He blocked me some time ago.
Why? What'd you do?
I don't know. He went off his meds again, and
Oh.
I didn't hear from him forever, and now I don't know where he is. I don't.
Were you guys friends?
Yeah, he was like my best friend, but dude, then he stopped taking the lithium, man, and like he was really fucked up. He was completely fucking inconsolably insane. He was insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sucks.
And like eventually he just blocked me, and I'm not sure why. But I don't know that I care to find out either.
Maybe you weren't the best for him at the time.
Oh yeah, I mean, there was
Maybe
no.
he didn't want to do meth. Okay.
Well, I hadn't been doing it at that point. V Chatty,
He
I had
knew.
never met.
He knew where you were headed.
I had never met V Chatty until like years later. She was the one who got me into this shit, dude. I'm telling you.
Damn, and you still do it. Don't you want to like not be living in the shadow of this traumatic event?
Yeah, I'd very much like that, but I don't know that has as much to do with this as.
Why don't we go back to Seattle, establish a community, ostracize the ostracizers, and shame them publicly?
I think that timing is everything on that.
Yeah. First, you need to get on Conan. So get writing.
Did you know I was on the front page of Funny or Die?
Yes, you told me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't have very many credits. That's the only good one I have.
What were you on there for?
For doing 10 minutes of stand up?
10 minutes is a long time. What was the general vibe of the set that got you famous?
It was just the like my submission video was so really I'm like clean cut looking, and it was old. It was like one of the first For the Record shows at Jai Tai, and it was a
For
full
the
crowd.
Record.
And it was
Billy
I
Anderson.
killed. Yeah.
So it was like a dry tie crowd, Capitol Hill, young hipsters, and you just like spoke to them about the drug experience.
No, I didn't hardly talk about drugs at all. That's it.
Such an ugly backdrop.
Yeah. Remember when I used to do that bit where I had the kazoo up my sleeve and I would throw it at the bell?
Yes. Do you have Hulu?
No.
Okay, well,
I gotta scrap and clean and sleep. I'm so tired.
how do you want to end this podcast?
I don't know. What do you plan to do next? Where am I gonna see you again? Do you think?
I'm gonna go to Austin. I'm gonna camp out, see if this fourth wave hits or not.
Fourth wave of...
Coronavirus.
Oh, right. You're just like staying away from everyone.
Yeah, I love it. I find society to be toxic and gross, and I love the mental state that I get in when I'm alone. Don't you think that, like,
I love being alone. Solitude is great.
yeah, I mean, I would rather be around healthy people, but that's not an option.
Yeah, there's a difference between solitude and isolation. Like,
Yeah.
solitude is healthy and pleasant, but isolation is like.
I wake up
Yeah.
and I like go hiking. I like go into the mountains, climb a mountain, and it's like that's like my day.
Oh.
And it's so much better. And we are in this society, and we sacrifice so much to be in it. We sacrifice so much of our mental health, and people don't even realize it because they never do what I'm doing. They never just go out because they don't have vans that they live in.
Clear Creek, you should go check it out.
Is there a lot of people there?
No, you have to go deep in it to get away from the like at the front. There's typically a lot of people in it,
Yeah.
but like if you just like go the way that I imagine you would anyways, which wouldn't occur to anyone as a way that you could go. Like you just like be walking.
I'll go.
Yeah, go.
How far away is it from here?
It's been so long since I've been there. It's in between here and New Mexico though.
Okay, well, let's end this podcast. What do you want to say to people? I'm gonna put it up. Let me know if you want me to edit anything out, but like, I'm gonna put it up. You know, generally who's gonna listen to it? Like probably like 7 people.
I actually don't. I don't know who you still fuck with. I don't know who still fucks with you.
Well, just imagine my audience. Anything you want to say to these people that are on my Facebook?
No, the people that I think would listen to it, that I imagine would, we would both know, would probably have anywhere from an indifferent to high opinion of me.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm sure that they're like, oh, he's fine, or some of them might be like, I don't think he's very funny, but I don't have a problem with him. That would probably be the worst thing anyone would say, and they would be full of shit. But like, I don't know. I guess it's just weird to think that somebody would be listening and thinking about the situation in Seattle again. But I need to get over it again. I just need to keep fucking picking away at that shit.
Yeah, go to New York or LA. Go to LA. LA is close to here. Or go to Austin.
Yeah.
You live in a mobile home.
Yeah, I know. I'd like to go to Austin, I think. But then there's also like the part of me that's like I love Fugazi and I love like punk rock music and like there's really not much here yet. But there's like these huge gaps that like someone just needs to fill them, you know? And I've thought about filling them because I know how to do it. I've done it before. I just don't know if I want to do that again or if it would be better for me to like focus on me. But I gotta stop doing neither. I gotta like do something.
Yeah. I would say throw away about 80% of what you have in here and then just do comedy every day or punk rock music, whatever you're talking about. Punk rock comedy.
No, it's the DIY ethics behind the punk rock music and like the application of it onto comedy.
Yeah, you're good at flyering.
And it's like there's not a bunch of different ways to do comedy successfully. You know what I mean? You either got to be this or you got to be that. You can be like an alternative comic or you can be a club comic. And there's no way to really be something totally, completely off the wall different, you know? But that's just because nobody's done it yet.
Yeah, I mean...
Someone just has to do it.
Sebastian Maniscalco is pretty different.
I think his comedy's kind of run-of-the-mill. He's funny, but it's not... The way that he did it, the way he went about delivering it was interesting.
Okay, yeah, I mean, sure. I would like to say to the people listening that we are just 2 young gun comics grinding it out, figuring it out, you know, just like putting in the work, and we have a perspective that needs to be heard, and everyone's perspective needs to be heard, and to think that someone's perspective is too controversial or too edgy or too dull or boring is obviously wrong. And if that's what you think, then you just don't understand humanity because you're too used to seeing humans as like little playthings.
Commodities.
Anyways, Should we end it?
Yeah.
All right.